Well, good morning. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Danny and I are working together today, heading out back to the mill yard. We gotta warm up the Bobcat, move a bunch of logs. We gotta get a fairly good sized pitch pine. It's about 14 feet long, I think around 26, 28 around for a job that we're doing. I'm going to try to get it cut this afternoon. It's pretty cold. It's like 26 degrees out right now. I'm going to try to get it cut today. If I can't get it cut today, I'll work on firewood instead. I got to get a bunch of firewood in the house, and I'll cut it tomorrow. But I'm hoping to cut it today. First thing we got to do is get some logs moved. So while I am starting up the Bobcat here and moving a couple things around, I got to make a hole for my truck here. I'm going to move some sawhorses out of the way. Fire up the Bobcat, let it warm up a little bit. Now I'm going to throw your view to outside while I just go start this thing up. I'll come back in the truck again, talk a little bit about the job that I'm doing, and let the Bobcat warm up since it's so cold out. So let's see what your view looks like outside. All right, so yeah, you got a pretty good view. I'll leave you right there for a second in the nice warm truck, and I'm going to go outside and just fire this thing up. We'll let it sit for a couple of minutes while we talk about the job that we got to cut. And we'll take it from there. So you guys hold on, and if I have to pause you, I'll pause you. Probably I'll end up, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Let me go fire this thing up. Yeah, it's chilly out. So let that Bobcat warm up. What I'm trying to do really is I'm trying to get my Christmas paid for. So I cut an order last week. Construction lumber for the base of I don't know if it's a barn or a addition on a house. All the 2x8 stuff that you saw me cutting, 16 footers and 12 footers, and that's for a carrier beam and floor joists on an addition going on a house. That with that job and this job, which is around 15 by 15, that's 150, and 5/15s is 30/60, 75, so 150 and 75, 225 board feet ish of 1x wide plank pitch pine floorboards. Now I've got a bunch of pitch pine in my pile right next to the truck right now, but it's all brand new. They're going to dry these, and I suggested that I guess the husband, it's a fairly new couple. The husband says he's handy in carpentry and stuff, so I suggested that he do shiplap on him, so he has a lap edge. They wanted 12-inch wide planks. I recommended against it, down to 10 because of cupping. They're going to dry them in a basement, dehumidifiers and fans over the winter here. The log that I have, originally they said, oh, you know, we'll take random length pieces and stuff like that. But I have a log in the pile back up on the hill that is 14 feet long, and I think their final inside dimension is like 13.6 by 12.6. That's 14 feet long and big enough around, I think, to cut the whole order out of full-length board. So that's what I got to work on, and you'll see the challenge when after the Bobcat gets warmed up. When we get up on the hill, I'll set up the tripod so you can watch me pull this pile apart. I got to get between a couple trees and pull the whole, it just happens to be the second to last log in the pile. So I have to pull the pile apart to get that log out, come down, throw it up on the mill, and then I'm going to go to lunch. So that order with the framing lumber order pretty much pays for everything that I bought for Christmas. Also, I got in the pipeline, I got a guy that's supposed to be coming. I think he's going to come today, hopefully, to buy some 6x6s. He wanted me to cut them, but I think I have what he needs sitting right in my on my log bunks over here. And I've got a cedar order to cut too for a little mini greenhouse. Now, I'm waiting on the final dimensions from her, because what she's doing is, I've got some funky lengths that I need to use to fill this order. I've got some like 7-footers, and she's translating all her lumber into 8-footers because it's 8 feet long, but it's only 4 feet deep. And what I asked her for is a cut list so that I can be, the timber she's asking for are fairly wide 2x material, true 2x material. And I don't know that I can get that out of the long stuff that I have, but if I can cut her shorter material, let's say 4-footers and 6-footers and 2-footers and stuff like that, if I can make that up out of my shorter logs that I've cut, that I've trimmed down, I've got plenty. So I'm waiting for a cut list from her. So we'll get those 6x6s out of here. I'll cut that order too, but this one flooring order I want to get out today or tomorrow. I could cut it next week too. It doesn't really matter, but you know, I really got nothing going on today other than maybe having to get firewood in the house. So figured I'd try to cut it today before my cover blew off the mill during the big windstorm that we had the other day. So before I put that cover back on the mill, I said, what the hell, we'll cut this thing, because it's all going to come out of one log. So it's going to be a big log, a heavy log. If you guys don't know anything about pitch pine is our native pine on Cape Cod. It's our most numerous tree. Typically it grows small and kind of windy, and some people call it scrub pine, but they get big. And The center of them is real red and hard. It's a very, very dense, heavy wood. It is in no way to be referred to in the same sentence as white pine. It's not the same animal. It's much closer to, I would say it's a cross between a southern yellow pine and a Douglas fir. So it's got the coloring of Douglas fir and the weight and hardness of like a southern yellow pine. Nobody uses it. I use a ton of it because I love it. And it just worked out that when I first started milling, I got a bunch of it in and we used it, and I was like, holy crap, you know, this stuff's unbelievable. We made some benches and tables and stuff out of it, and it was so hard. I was like, what is this stuff? And that was really my introduction into pitch pine. So now I do a lot with it. So these people wanted white pine floors, and I talked them out of it and said, no, you want pitch pine floors, not white pine floors. They're not looking, you know, it's a young couple. They're looking to make their way in life. They're not looking to spend $1 billion. So I can do this for $1 a board foot. It's going to cost them a couple of $100 for this floor. And I'm not sure if it's a nursery in the house, but the floor's getting painted just before, you know, some of you guys tilt off the end of the edge of the world here on a pine floor. Pine floors are common in houses down here on the Cape. Wide plank pine floors are cut by one company that's close to me called Katomet Sawmill, if you guys want to look it up. And it's very, very, very expensive. Super expensive. Like you could put granite on your floor cheaper. You could granite your floor cheaper per square foot than Katomet Sawmill sells wide plank pine, especially southern yellow pine floors for. Lots of people use it in their homes. It's very common here. That, red oak, white oak. Those are our big floors here on Cape Cod. So this pitch pine is going to work out great. It's very common in old farmhouses like ours. And upstairs in our house, we have a lot of pine floors. Downstairs, it's all white oak. Upstairs, we have a mixture of white oak and pine floors. It's very common in old farmhouses and big families, and this was a big family, that they would paint their floors and continually paint them over the years, rather than having a refinish hardwood. So these people came to me and said, we're going to paint them. They don't have to be anything special. Pine's fine. So I'm giving them a good product they'll be able to paint. They're going to dry them. They're going to shiplap them so that you don't have, and actually they don't need to shiplap them, because what I found out is it's going over a substrate. It's not going right down on floor joists like in our house. But I like shiplapping them so that you don't have, you know, a draft gap all the way through when you put them on floor joists. So obviously that, you know, with modern construction, you can avoid that by doing a myriad of different things. You know, you can insulate the floor, you could blow the floor, you could just put insulation in. But in this case, it's going over a substrate. So they want 4/4. They apparently are going to plane them. I'm going to give them to them like it's a square, a little bit oversized. So 13.6, I'll give them to them at 14 feet. And I think that I can give them all full-length boards, and it will all come out of this one log. So right now, I'm going to flip the camera back around. What do I have to do? I got to get my truck parked, and we'll get you on a tripod. I'm going to put the forks on. I'll leave Danny in the truck here because it's cold, and we're going to go to lunch right afterwards. We'll get the tripod up on the hill so you can watch me pull this pile apart, and it's going to be some nice big logs, and we'll go from there. So I'm actually going to put you guys, well, let's get the truck parked here out of the way, and I will pause you guys and get you into a tripod up on the hill. Everything's nice and frozen this morning. Kill this truck. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to hit pause, and the next time you guys see me, I'll be in the Bobcat up on the hill. All right, we're just going to throw the forks on, and then I'll flip your view around up top. flip your view around here. Oh, that's backwards. Flip your view around. So this is the pile that I'm pulling them out of here. The pitch pine. Hopefully the bark's going to come off it too. The pitch pine actually is the last log in the pile. So that's a big white pine right there. That pitch pine right there is the one that we're getting out of here. It's the last log in the pile. So I don't know if you can see this, but these are kind of tucked in, maybe a little bit behind those. So, and then I got to go between these two trees here, and I think I'm just going to stuff all the logs up right in here for now because it's pretty wide open. And then I'll put them back later. I don't know what your best view is going to. Let's take a walk around here, see what your best view is going to be. Try not to ding this camera so it goes into like earthquake mode and shuts off. You know, I was going to put you back over there looking back up, but I think this is a better view. I'm going to put you, I don't know if the sun's really bad here. I think I'm going to put you right here. I can get this camera kind of angled a little bit maybe. I think I'll put you right here because I'll be dropping the logs over here and you can kind of see what's going on. Yeah, that's not a bad view there. You'll be able to see me wiggling between the trees. All right, we'll go with that. So I'm going to pull that log pile apart. I'll be putting the logs right up in here in front of you kind of when I come out, going back in until I get to that pitch pine. came out of there way easier than they went in, let me tell you. What I have up here is I've just got a couple of maple logs on the ground. Old maples on the ground that they sit on top of to keep the logs off the ground. You can see right there. And you can see the variety here is a big ash. That's, I think, going to be trailer decking on my trailer. You got a white oak there. That's a white pine, I think. I think that one's a fir. That's a white pine down there. There's a white oak behind it, and you got a big white pine here. So we'll get you flipped around. You can watch from up here. I'll go down, put this thing on the mill, and watch from up here. And then I'm gonna go to lunch. I got the wood stove cooking in the house. Got it all dogged down, so I'm getting some smoke right now. Yeah, we'll go down and put this thing up on the mill. I hope. negative thing that I see. I might have to, when I come back from lunch, put the grapples on it, because I might not be able to get my cover off. I'll show you what the issue was. Might not be able to get my cover off to throw a blade on this. So I might have to pick it up with the grapples and move it down just a hair. I don't think I can get the cover off right now. It's gonna be pretty close. I don't think I'm gonna be able to, so I think I gotta slide it down a little bit, and this will tear up the mill trying to slide it on the bunks. It would bend the bunks. It's a heavy log. Now, this is the issue right here, and why I was trying to get it so close is that butt cut right there. When we roll the log, I wanted it to make sure it was going to stay on that. I got plenty of room down here, so it's 12 feet from that bunk to that bunk, and I got plenty of room down here. But I don't, when I roll that log, I don't want it to come off that bunk. So it's a little bit of a problem. You know, I could probably just come in with a chainsaw and trim this and leave it right where it is. And that might be what I'm going to do. You just trim this thing right off here. Make one cut. It's pretty clear of everything. Like, I'm not going to hit anything there. And that would probably make things simpler. I'll get a measurement. Let's get a measurement right to that wedge cut there. It's not the easiest log in the world to measure. Actually, I'll put you guys down rather than giving you headaches here. Let's go ahead and measure it right to that wedge cut, see what that looks like. So right to the wedge cut, I got 1310, so that's good. I can actually cut this off right here. That'll give me plenty of room to get a blade on. It'll stay on the bunk. And that's plenty of log. Just make sure there's no imperfections down the other end that are going to cause a problem with doing that. I don't want to get below 13.6. It doesn't look like it. It looks like this end's pretty clean. It's pretty straight. So 1310 should work. Might even just, you know, just sneak inside that, like just go my 2 inches and make sure it's 14 feet. So like go right here and just cut it right there, right off. That'll stay on the bunk. Let's take a look. I'm going to try to probably I'll strip the bark off this. Definitely. It's going to come right off. Let's see what we're looking like for clearance issues here just off the bat. So we look good on this side. Doesn't look like a problem. We're kind of okay on this side. I don't like that one little bump there, but it's only a top cut we got to worry about. So, hold on, sorry. That one little bump right there is going to be close on the top cut, but when the bark's off, it's going to make a big difference. Let's measure the butt of this log. Now, I do have the big end down the other end. It's not going to matter on this log because we're just going to blast it into a can. So it's 23 this way on this end. Let's not measure the outside the bark. It's 22 of wood right here, and you can see there's a pretty good little step down there. So if it was at this side, it'd be about 26. This end's obviously a lot bigger. Go ahead and drop a tape on the bunk here and just try to get a guess. It's 24. It's pretty straight. It's not that bad. It's not huge. There's a chance when I strip the bark off this that I'll be able to turn this log by hand. Chance. Hopefully I can. Oh, let me put my tape measure back before I go. Where the hell did my tape measure go? So that's what's going on here. You can see all the pitch pine up in the pile there. And the way that you can tell the pitch pine is, number one, the bark. that big thick bark with these big chunks right here is pitch pine. And then, so you can see those ones on the top right there have that same bark. And really the difference, so I could see a white pine. I can't really see one right here to show you well. That's a white pine right there. You see how much smaller the bark chunks are in it? And that's a pretty knotty white pine, but that's a white pine. And then the telltale sign of a pitch pine is that red, rock hard center like a Douglas fir. So you get the red center, the red center, the red center, that teeny red center on that one. That was a really healthy tree. Little red center on that one. That was a really healthy tree too. That one too. A lot of sapwood. See the center in that one, pitch pine. No center, white pine. You can see the pitch pines. That's a really nice pitch pine down the bottom with a big red center. And over there, white pine. Over here, pitch pine right there. White pine, white pine, white pine behind it. And that's walnut down there. But that's how that's white pine right there. See, that's how you tell the difference besides the bark. And on the needles, the pitch pines have 5 needles per pod and the white pines have 3. This one's a really nice pitch pine. It's got a big red center. It's got a really good size center in it. It's going to be beautiful boards, and I'll do some mathematics, but let's just say if we go off the 22, that's going to give us 14, a little over 14, between 14 and 16 if it, which means we'll get a 10-inch wide cant to cut our 1x10s out of, and we'll get 1xs on both sides of it. At 14, what did I say, 20 times 70% is 14. So I need 15 or 16 boards, I think. And out of the cant, so I'll get, if it ends up being a 14-inch can, I think it'll be 15. But if it's 15, it's 14/8. It's almost another, let's just call it 2 inches. So it'd have to be a 16-inch cant to get 15 boards out of it. No, 14 boards out of it. It'd have to be a 16-inch cant to get 14 boards out of it, and I need like 15. I'll get plenty out of the sides and out of the jacket cuts on this to fill the whole order. So let's go to lunch. Flip the camera here without shutting you off. 43 minutes. They always end up that way. Get you back on the truck. We're gonna go to lunch. Let it warm up a little bit, and say hi to Danny. Danny, you want to run around outside for a second? See if we get him to go pee outside before we go. Oh no, we'll stop at his favorite place. We'll stop at his favorite place, which is Crane Wildlife. He loves that place. Yeah, so we'll get out of the backyard here and head to lunch, and I'll shoot some more video later. So guys, if something happens and I don't shoot any video, Merry Christmas. Thank you for the support. Please like and share everything. I'm at almost 950 subscribers, so I'm this close to 1,000. And it should be it'll be a neat milling project. Hopefully I can roll them by hand. It's gonna be heavy. If I have to roll it with a strap, it's just gonna make it go longer. But we'll blast it into this huge ass piece, and get a whole bunch of 1-bys out of it and fill this order and pay for Christmas. So appreciate it. Merry Christmas, happy holidays from Pirate Solutions Forestry to everybody out there. It's Pirate Solutions out.